Grayskull.
So
There you go.
is anybody else finding comfort in the fact that all of these kind of people our age, like Barry, you kind of hit on it in our kind of Craig G joint, right? But people are starting to kind of put stuff out, and it sounds like we would expect it to sound versus trying to fit into what.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're all appreciative of that, man. It's like,
Yeah, man,
it's back.
Yeah, Cypress, Onyx, Craig G, various.
Because
And
they
I
got
told you my. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Oh, I was about to say they got to fill that void, you know.
Yeah.
Because we've been waiting on Detox since for 30 years, and it ain't gonna never happen.
That's what I mean, man.
So now
but like,
it's
you know,
like, what we
there's a
gonna
market,
do?
man. There's a market for 30+ hip hop. I mean,
Yeah.
there just is.
What was the catalyst? What do you guys think was the catalyst for making this all happen? Like a lot of people say Griselda was the catalyst. Griselda's success. Is there something else that you guys think might have been the catalyst for like this type of hip hop? That people say 90s hip hop coming back. I don't like saying it that way, but I
Let
think
me ask you a question. Is it maybe just the fact that it's easier to put out and access now?
I would say.
Griselda may have had something to do, like, again, you know, my internet give curse philosophy, right? But I think where now you don't necessarily have to go through all the politics of trying to put an album out in a traditional sense. Like you can be like, yo, this is what I want to do. And it's coming out. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but I feel like that might be a part of it as well.
I think that's contributed, definitely.
I also think that so I didn't really realize until it happened, but MF Doom, like when he died, my kids came down and were like, yo, did you hear about MF Doom? I didn't even know they fucking listened to MF Doom. You know what I'm saying? But they came down and listened to MF Doom, and we like started talking about the history of MF Doom. And I'm wondering if I give him a lot of credit for a lot of shit, but I wonder if something about, because they dug up his old catalog as well, like the Peach Fuzz and all that shit. And I'm wondering if that actually had something to do with a lot of the younger cats getting into some of the stuff from when we were growing up.
That's actually a really sensible idea, man. Thinking about it, man.
Did you guys know that MF Doom was British?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't.
I think, but the truth be told, I think that he was born in Britain, but he moved to the States young, but he came back to the UK because there was some kind of like visa issues, because he never got US citizenship. So he came back to live in the UK, and he was spitting about living in London and stuff. Like he started using a lot of British references in his raps.
Yeah.
I had no idea, man. That's dope as hell.
He came back. Yep.
I credit MF Doom with maybe way too
long
much.
ago.
Huh?
They were trying to deport Slick Rick not too long ago.
I heard that.
Maybe 5-7 years ago, they were trying to deport Slick Rick.
I remember that. I don't remember what the outcome was. So I guess
right.
He was granted to stay, but it was touch and go for a minute, bro. Because he left the country on like a cruise ship in the Bahamas or something, and they're like, "No, you're a felon. You can't get re-entry here. You leave the country, you can't get back in." So
wow.
They didn't leave that man alone.
Please, man, he's earned it.
It's
man.
the same with 21 Savage. They try to get rid of 21 Savage because he's from the UK as well, right? Remember that?
Yep.
I was trying not to say they can keep him, but
we don't want him. We don't want him.
That'll be an apology.
I take it you're not doing any apologies for that, huh, Q?
We not doing no apologies for that one, man. That one we're just gonna let ride.
Well, the good news is we probably aren't going to reach his core audience anyway. So
yeah. I don't know if that was enough.
And if we do, and they hate, the numbers just gonna go up.
Actually, you know what?
that isn't that if a tree falls in the woods, nobody's there to hear it? Does it really make a sound? Isn't that right there?
Yeah, y'all ain't gonna be in this neck of the woods. They ain't gonna be in this neck of the woods for sure. So I heard you say for the FKN Love when you mentioned the name of the album, man. Is it that you don't curse, or is that actually?
No, I curse like a sailor. I've just been sort of like, I was like, yo, Speech, how do we address this album? Like, do we say for the fucking love? Because that's like not how Arrested Development roll. And he was like, nah, let's just call it for the FKN Love or for the Effin' Love. So generally, I'll say for the Effin' Love or for the FKN Love. But yeah, or if you want to go, for the fucking love. So yeah. Obviously, someone wrote online, they were like, this is not the sort of title we would expect from Arrested Development. Exactly. I agree. And that was all Speech's idea. Speech actually wanted to call it that. So I was like, hell yeah. I'm down.
Yeah, that's part of what made me actually say, "Oh, I need to listen to this." This is from a restaurant.
That's right, different because
like this.
It didn't have the same sort of meaning that all the other titles have got. You know what I mean? Like it was just literally boom for the fucking love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's the album was for. It was for the love of hip hop.
And
Right.
that comes across so beautifully in the project. Like, I was listening to it today. I'm like, yo, everything on here is just beautiful. Like,
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Look, you bring Big Daddy Kane out of the cave. Like you already got me. Like I'm sold.
He's
like,
an animal.
Proper beat.
Right.
Yeah. Seriously,
So,
man. Like, he doesn't do that many collaborations these days. You know, recently these days, maybe last 10 years or so, and like it was just a blessing to get him on there, particularly in light of the KRS thing, verses and all that kind of stuff. The timing was impeccable because that track is now on nearly 250,000 streams. Like that hasn't taken long, really.
Right.
Yeah. Did you drop the album in what, November?
December?
Yeah.
But the single came out a little bit before that. So yeah, but basically to get nearly, I think it's almost 250,000 streams already. I'm like, wow, okay. But our biggest grossing song that I've done with AD, which is it's their top 5 now of, you know, when you go on someone's streaming page and you can see their most popular songs and what's happening. It's got like People Every Day, Mr. Wendell, Tennessee, and I think Africa's Inside Me, and then our track. I think we were fourth or fifth. Like just the new shit never, for a long time, the new shit was never like, it was never getting in their top 10 of streaming. But now we've got like 3 or 4 tracks in that top 10.
Wow, that's a big deal, man. Congratulations, man. That's a big a big FKN deal, I guess, huh?
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope. So, I guess before I even get into talking about the album, I did kind of want to know about your production background. Like, how'd you get into producing, and what did you start with? What kind of equipment did you start with?
Wow, bro, I started off really basic. I started off just on the PC. Like, I started off with software. And actually, you guys might know that Apollo Brown was freaking the Cool Edit Pro.
About to say Cool Edit Pro.
Even recently. I don't know if he still uses it, but I was using that shit as well. Cool Edit Pro.
Didn't it become Adobe Audition?
I've been using that shit. I was using that shit for years. In fact, I still use it off and on. Truth be told, I still love chopping samples and Cool Edit. But yeah, that's how I started off, using really stolen sort of software, you know, cracked software. And so that I started off as an MC actually.
Okay.
When I first started I first dropped my first album in 2000, and I was an MC. I did a couple of beats, and then I got signed by this record label in LA called Rap Junkie Records in about 2001, and I released my album through them in 2002 when I did pretty much all the production. And then I was like, just fell out. I was like, nah, man, I can take this production shit further. So that's what I changed my name, and then changed my name in 2003, and then I took that from that point forward, where I was pretty much exclusively a producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What are you using now to produce? What's your favorite weapon of choice?
MPCX.
Okay. Oh, any reason why?
It's a beast. And I love the fact that you can basically use it without being plugged into a laptop or anything. You can just do it standalone.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah, man. You're not constricted from, because I know machine, you know, a lot of people rock with machines, which is dope.
Right, yeah.
But I love the MPC because it's like, you know, you can just take whoever you want. I mean, actually, you might see the MPC if you look at Forward Future, the video of me and Jahi. At the very beginning, you'll see my MPC-X beside me, it's like just in the background. But yeah, I'm not one of those dudes, though. I'm not one of those dudes because I think it's cliche to be slumped over an MPC, tapping out drums. I'm like, I'm not really. Too many people do that. It's the same shit all the time. Like how many times can you press a button and make that like watchable to your people on social media? It's boring.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on, I gotta go delete about 8 videos off my IG real quick.
I mean, once in a blue moon, yeah, man. But like, I'll see like I don't know, one of the legends do it occasionally. You know what I mean?
I watch
like,
My fault. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
All good.
But yeah, I think do that in every video, which I see some of these up and comers do it all the time. It's like, yeah, a bit cliche.
Yeah,
they have competitions with that shit now too.
They do finger drumming and stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it is what it is. You know, to each their own. I just prefer making songs, bro.
Yeah, same. I'm not a finger drum. I'm not a good finger drum. I'm an MPC Live dude right now.
Fuck with that shit.
I actually
that's what's up. But I'm not a finger
right
drummer either. Like, so I'm not going to be tapping out finger drums live. I'm just going to be making beat. That's it. I mean,
what I've been seeing is still it's still the same thing hunched over the MPC, but I've been seeing a lot of they not actually doing the finger drumming as much as just triggering like some of the
bro,
samples.
a lot of these guys mime. A lot of these guys mime, and I can tell they mime because their fingers are out of sync with the music.
Yep.
A lot of these guys are miming.
Yeah, and I've seen also like especially with some of the guys that are finger drumming, but also the samples are changing a little too frequently. Like, I don't know. It looks like he was trying to act like he was triggering the sample there, and I don't think that's what was supposed to happen there. So
you see what the problem is. The problem is all of y'all produce already, so you know when you hitting that button. You can't hit the same button and get 4 different sounds. Not
exactly. Amen. Thank you very much.
There are definitely some giveaway. It's like DJing though, Bear.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know Rob Swift got at somebody a couple weeks ago about a routine that they did.
I seen that.
But respect to the dude because he came back and did the routine live.
Yeah.
And Rob Swift bigged him up like, yo, it wasn't even a question about whether it was possible or not. Just respect the craft enough to do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. Right. That's kind of the same point here, right? Like, if you hit pad number 8 and it's a hi-hat, and then 20 seconds later, pad number 8 is a guitar riff.
Now, we're sitting somewhere with no wires
like,
behind your
too
joint.
many people faking the funk, man. Like,
but you can do no wires with the MPC Live. I will say
you can do no wires. Yeah, like
that's battery operated.
But you can't necessarily with some of the other pieces.
Yeah,
you
like
can't
the
with
regular
MPC
machine,
Studio.
not the Machine Plus.
Yeah.
You know, so there's definitely things you're like,
definitely.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but
and we got to
each his own.
Yeah, we got to give a little leeway in case somebody tries to come back at us. Yeah, I know you can change what's on each of the pads if you go through the banks. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're not changing the banks as a part of it, I mean, again, I'm not trying to shit on nobody. I'm just saying, for the record, like cats that can finger drum, I think are dope because I
see some of these dudes. They're very talented with how they do finger drum, but I'm like. Actually, the guys that are finger drumming, I've yet to hear make substantially dope beats.
Beats.
What's the end product, bro? Are you just being flashy, showing off, or are you gonna make some dope shit? Like,
There's one guy that's amazing though. Beats by Jay Black. That dude is.
I was about to say Jay Black.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jay Black, right? I've seen that dude.
The beats are
phenomenal.
fucking amazing.
So the funny thing is,
on the finger drumming, he is.
Sonny Bricks, that dude who came through on the birthday joint, him and Jay Black actually did some shit together. It's like it should be on YouTube actually, and they actually collabed on a track, and it was fucking amazing.
You know what? I might have seen that video now that I think about it. It's funny because I remember
skin dude, really light skinned dude.
Yeah.
I need to go back and look now. Damn.
When you think about it, like the guys that are making the hottest shit, you don't see slumped over an MPC. I mean, you don't see Alchemist doing that shit. Like, and Alchemist has got a lot of love recently. You don't see, I don't know, Derringer, you know, because obviously the GRYSKLL sound. You don't see, I don't know, Preem even. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see like him tapping out, you know, like drums, whatever. So
I feel like a lot of that shit is like just like a lot of rappers rap for other rappers, like as producers producing for other producers.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to show my skills.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey,
showing up for the producers. That's what it is.
I feel like somebody just took a shot at me, yo. I think he just took a shot at me. That's payback.
Nah, man.
Yo,
so my bad. Go ahead, Sha.
I was just gonna say about that thing with the finger drummers too. I noticed. I think there's an age line with that too. Like most.
That's what I was thinking. That I was just thinking that.
Yeah, but a lot of younger dudes, I wonder if they come up with that MPC as an instrument and they've been playing with them since they were little kids, and now it's
that could be what it is.
Guitar or
yeah.
I mean, you know, Stro Elliott is kind of a real dope hybrid between the two. Like he's done some stuff at those like with Jeff at some of those the things Jeff does at his house, and even some of his live performances where he's I think Stro Elliott is like a great half and half of that. But I think for us, like I full disclosure, I was like, I think I could finger drum because I always, you know, beating on lunchroom tables, right? And it definitely is a skill set that you have to build. It was nowhere near as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I respect what they do. It's just, I don't really have an interest in getting that good at it.
Some of it for me is I'm hating because I have long ass fingers and somehow I can't do that.
I've got long fingers. I just can't be bothered to do the finger drumming, showing out shit. It's like,
I'm built for that shit, but nope, ain't happening.
So were you ever strictly hardware based configurer? Have you always been kind of software?
I was software based originally, and then I made the transition to more hardware based shit. But I was for a good while I was software based. Yeah, that's I can't say I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say that I had like MPCs and all that shit when I started out in 2000. Because like late 90s actually, because I didn't have an SP1200 and all that stuff. I just had like what I had on my on my PC, and then I graduated into MPC 2000 XL, and then I graduated into a lot later on MPCX. Yeah.
So time out. So are you telling me you never owned an ASR 10?
He came in after that era.
Yeah. I came in after that era, bro. Yeah.
But I feel like that's a rite of passage. You gotta own an ASR 10 at some point.
Be in the 90s. You're doing it in the 90s to go that route.
I started taking this because I was an MC originally, so I wasn't too big on making beats even in the late 90s. In fact, I didn't really start making beats. I just did it for fun. I was spitting. I did it for fun from around about 97, and I didn't really take it more seriously until around 2000, 2001, making beats like on a consistent basis. About 2000.
You did something different too. You went from making beats in software to now going to hardware. That's not something people normally do. What made you?
Interesting transition. Yeah.
I just wanted to.
No, I would say that was kind of the reason for my question. Yeah.
I just think because software it's great and all, because I know there's been a few producers who have actually made careers out of using software. Examples I've got in mind would be, for example, Ninth Wonder. Ninth Wonder notably used Fruity Loops, and he would have grabbed it. So, you know, big up Ninth Wonder, and also Apollo Brown with Cool Edit. However, I just thought that you get increasingly limited with what you can do with just software. And I think that having, I don't know if it's just mental or whatever, but tapping the buttons as opposed to just like clicking on a mouse just feels, I don't know, more organic almost.
You know me, I rarely use the MPC itself nowadays. I actually use the laptop, but I use the 16 keys on the laptop as if they were pads. So it's still, I still get the tap and feel as if I had pads, but it's just on the laptop. And the only reason I started doing that was because I travel a lot. And when I travel, carrying an MPC and a laptop is a pain in the ass. So I had to figure out how to go with just a laptop.
I think that was a DJ Scratch suggestion for the MP software too. I think Scratch actually, for one of the early upgrades to the MPC software, suggested that they make it so that you could bang out on the keyboard keys as opposed to having to have. But I think Scratch actually sent that suggestion in.
I mean, there's no right or wrong way, because ultimately, big up software, big up hardware, and like big up hybrids. I mean, at the end of the day, if it sounds dope to me, it sounds dope. I couldn't give a shit what software Ninth or Apollo Brown have used, and I don't give a shit like that, you know, someone's using MPCX or MPC Live or a machine. As long as it sounds dope to me, it somes dope at the end of the day. That's just me personally.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm 1,000% with you. Only reason I ask is because I'm like curious about what makes
when
it comes to making music.
The mind frame when you go in and stuff. Yeah.
Just like I love to see what other people love too.
Yeah. But I still rate software. I mean, I'm not totally out of software because actually, truth be told, on a few of the tracks but specifically Forward Feature, I alternated between software and the MPC, and nobody noticed the difference. So I was like, that's dope. I can use, I rock both, and it seems to be quite seamless. So yeah.
Right. Were you using the MPC software, or were you using some other software?
MPC software.
Okay.
But I also use, actually, tell a lie, on a couple of the tracks, actually, I did go back and use Cool Edit, an old school Acid Pro.
Wow. Okay. That's
really old shit.
Yeah,
I might need one of y'all to teach me how to use that MPC software, because when I got the MPC Touch, I hated that shit so much I gave the MPC to my son. Like I was like, fuck this thing. And
the software,
more than happy.
I hate that software.
Once I haven't always preferred the MP, that's a part of the reason I don't really care for Machine though. Even though in theory they work kind of similar. The differences are great enough to where I never really liked Machine. But when
I had an option of going with Machine or going for the MPCX, there was only one winner, bro. I have to admit, I was like, Machines are dope and flashy and stuff, but MPC, like I said, I think it was, for me, it was just working remotely, working away from laptop and just being constricted to like plugging into a laptop. And I like that. I like that personally. To each their own. There's no right or wrong answer, really.
Dope music is dope music, right? It doesn't really matter how you get to it at the end of the day. If the shit's hot, it's hot.
If it sounds good, it fucking sounds good. Yep.
I made some straight garbage on the MP, so it's definitely not the equipment. You know what I'm saying?
I made some garbage on everything.
I made some straight garbage on everything you could put in
It's
front
true.
of me.
It's true. You know what women say to men with small dicks is not what you use, it's how you use it. Music production, right?
I'm like, woo, that shit sucks. Yeah, so.
What were you saying before, Sheed? You were saying something about the MPC software, I think.
Oh, just like how I was real anti-software initially, and then
a lot of dudes,
as I've gotten into it, and I like Studio One, I had to start making myself use the MP again after I started making beats in Studio One. And I'm like, once I learned how to use I forget what their
Impact.
I don't even use Impact though. It is Impact, yeah. Once I learned how to chop in Impact, I'm like, there's no reason. And then I bought that
no reason, pardon the pun, reason.
Yeah, right.
Still no reason, because that's probably my least favorite.
Now Serato Studio, I made some stuff in Serato Studio. I'm like, the Mystified Pizza.
Magnified Pizza.
Yeah, Magnified Pizza was in Serato. So, I've kind of turned a huge corner at this point. I'm like, okay. And I think some of my best beats actually were made in Fruity Loops.
See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, these could be a sort of like, I remember, obviously, before I bought hardware, I couldn't afford it, truth be told. And I was rocking software. This is the early 2000s. People were like looking down their nose at me that you're not rocking an MPC. And at that time, I wasn't rocking an MPC. And it was almost like an elitism. Like, if you're not using hardware, you're somehow inferior. You just clicking mouses, what you're doing, or you just playing on keys, whatever. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, like, I truly believe that whatever sounds hot is hot. But I think one of the things that forced me a little bit more into hardware was definitely to prove to other people, like, I'm a proper producer. I'm real about this shit. So yeah, but I care less about that now, the older I get. But when I was in my 20s, a little bit different.
Matter.
And I think of like being a dinosaur, like I think early on I was also angry because I'm like, now anybody, like all you need is a phone. Like
some people do. They use GarageBand and shit on their phone.
Yeah.
There's an IMPC app on the phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But when we got into it, it was an investment. Like you had to, like you just said, you couldn't afford the hardware.
I couldn't, bro. Yeah, back then.
In the 80s, you either had the hardware or you didn't get any game.
Right. That's right.
I think that's where a lot of that kind of elitism comes from. Like I bought.
It was just harder to get in the game, period, back then, because like I remember I was of the age where there was still like a CD culture, or like literally you had to have a CD distributor. Like for example, the record label I was with had like a distribution of Sam Goody, Tower Records and shit. And like literally the distributor that would send these CDs out could either say yes or no to you. That was it. And if they said no to you and they didn't want to take your album on, that was it. You weren't getting your shit out there. But now, well, obviously with social media, but also streaming digital platforms, it's like, obviously it's so much easier, but obviously the levels have went down as a result. The quality levels have went down as a result. But but the elitism was always there. There was always elitism back then. And I think the elitism is less now. I think people are just more accepting of just the final sound. But back then, if you weren't a proper producer, then people would look down their nose at you.
I think that might be part of, like, it wasn't in the forefront of why I asked that question about how you switched from software to hardware, but I think that must have been part of it in there, because I remember that era. And even
definitely,
like one of the podcasts we listened to.
The beginning of a new one.